everyone, welcome. In this part of tutorial, we will show you how to build your first app. So we will build a quiz together where your user will be able to answer certain questions and tell how much he agrees with the statement. So with the first statement, we don't agree too much. Second one more. You can also go back and change the answer from the beginning if you want. And at the end, a user will be able to see and compare his answers with the average answer of other users. So, for example, with the statement 6, my answer was a 2. That means that I don't agree with this statement too much, but majority of users pretty much agree. Their average was around 4. So if you see, we basically have questions, we send the answers to the database, and at the end we retrieve these answers and compare a user with the average answers of other users. So how do we do that? Let's check it out. Again, we will use Requirebin, our already known tool, and we will start with requiring the modules that you also already know. These modules are Yo, CSJS, and MiniXHR for sending data. The next thing is we will come up with color scheme that we want to use for our app. If you remember, we can check and get inspiration on this page, colors, with a tab, with space. You can change the scheme, and when you find the one you like, you just copy the colors. You can copy them in this format, or you change them in HSLA, so that you can also later use the opacity or change the light and so on. Okay, so now we have our theme, we have our modules. What is the next step? The next step is, of course, a font. So let's copy the settings for the font. What do we need here? We need a link to the font. We need to create a variable font where we put the font inside of the Yo and then append this variable to the head of the document. So for the font, you can search on Google Fonts again, and when you find one that you like, you can copy the link and put it inside of your font links. So now we are ready to make our first function inside of our quiz. So let's first copy this and then I will explain what we have. So we have a quiz component, which is a function, and this function is made of CSS variable, you know this already, where we create our CSS, so styling for the quiz. Then we have a template function. So template function returns a Yo. We have a quiz. Inside of the quiz we have a welcome message, then a question, then answers. These answers are actually these buttons from 1 to 6. Below them we will add a short instruction, so to tell people that they should choose how strongly do they agree with the statement. And we finish with a back arrow. So after the template function, we will create a variable element that returns this function and append the element to the body of the document. And at the end, we will also return the element, and this is what the quiz component actually returns. So the quiz component will return the element, which is actually a template. Okay, so if we now run, nothing happens because there is a last piece missing, and this is a function call. We have to actually call our quiz component. So let's add that. We can also make this more compact and nicer. Okay, and now we are ready. Yay! We have our first thing. So as we said, this is, we can now check in our inspect element what we actually have. So if we click on this, we can see that we have a quiz class. You see here, Yo creates a special code so that components don't get mixed if they have the same name, so don't be bothered by that. But we have a quiz class. Inside we have a welcome message. This is this part. Then we have a question. You see, question, this is this. After the question comes the answers. First, second, third. After that, instruction, and below there is a back button. So if you will play around with the styling, you can always create the preview and then open the console, and inside you can also change the settings so that you don't have to change it directly in the code, that you can see how it works. For example, for this part, we could change the font size to see what we like, and when we get to the point that we are satisfied, we remember and then copy it here where the styling for the welcome is. So we also have a color here, so we can play with the color. So we can change, or we can even click on this and change the color to what we like. And when we are happy, we copy again inside of our real CSS. So you can use the console to check the things, and if you don't change anything here, don't worry, because when you run the code again, everything will be back to what is saved in your document. So okay, we have this, we have buttons prepared, nothing works yet, but the styling is ready, so in the next lesson we continue.